Hi all. So welcome back to day 21 actually. So 3 full weeks we've been doing this now, which is kind of awesome. We typically say that in 21 days you can rewire a whole neural pathway. If we had started on day one, then we may have already got rid of one of our core wounds that we've been working on, hopefully, or we will be working on shortly. Today I thought I would talk about something, well, for me it's fun, but I think it's kind of important as well. And that's, what attachment style do you usually attract? It's one of the big questions I get asked all the time. Why do anxious people go for avoidant? Why do avoidant go for anxious? And so on and so forth. And when you're secure, one of the big things I hear all the time is people say to me, "Oh, well, when I'm secure, I'll only attract secure people. I'll only be attracted to secure people." I'm afraid, guys, it does not work that way at all, at all. We often say that love is about chemistry, that spark, that magnetism, that unexplainable pull. But what if that chemistry isn't random? What if it's not random? What if it's actually your nervous system recognizing something familiar, not necessarily healthy, but known to you already? Because we don't just fall for people, we fall for patterns. And until we become conscious of those patterns, we'll keep repeating the same emotional stories, different names, same endings. If you're somebody who always gets cheated on, it's likely you have a pattern of choosing that. If you're somebody who always cheats, it's likely you have a pattern of choosing that. If you always have these very up and down relationships that are all over the place, it's likely you're choosing that. It's a pattern. It's a pattern. So if you find that, like, most of your relationships end in the same way, just with different names, different faces, but same endings, then it is likely that you fall for patterns, not people, really. So today, let's talk about what attachment style you usually attract and why. So I love this. I love this one. This is like some of my favorite topics. These are. So there's a hidden logic of attraction here. So when two people meet, there's an energetic dance happening beneath the surface, like a conversation between nervous systems. Your body isn't just asking, do I like this person? It's asking, do they feel safe or do they feel familiar? And often those two things are not the same. Safety and familiarity are not the same thing, guys. I know it seems like they are, but they are not. So, if you grew up in an environment where love was inconsistent or unpredictable or conditional, your brain your brain wired itself to expect love to feel that way. So it learned that love equals effort, that equals earning, that love equals waiting for the moment it feels safe again. So, as an adult, when you meet someone who activates those same highs and lows, someone who's a little distant or hard to read or emotionally unavailable, your body like lights up like a Christmas tree because that's the emotional rhythm it knows. That's the emotional rhythm it knows. That's why trauma bonding can feel so much like chemistry. It's not. It's not chemistry, I promise you. Your attachment system isn't broken, it's loyal. That's the problem. It's just trying to recreate the story it's never been able to resolve. Let's talk about the anxious pattern, which is chasing the unavailable, basically. If you have an anxious attachment style, you're probably drawn to partners who are avoidant. So they seem calm and composed and independent at first. At first, that steadiness feels grounding, almost protective. You go to it because it feels safe. But over time, that emotional distance starts to feel like rejection. You find yourself trying harder, being more affectionate, more available, more everything, just to feel seen again. And here's what's really happening underneath. You're not addicted to them. We often say, oh, well, it's an addiction. You're addicted to this, you're addicted to that. You're not addicted to the person, you're addicted to the pursuit, to the feeling that if you can just earn their love, you'll finally be safe again. It's not neediness, it's your nervous system searching for resolution, basically. You're trying to heal the story that says, love leaves when I'm not perfect. And healing begins when you start choosing connection that feels calm instead of connection that feels like a chase, essentially. When you realize that peace isn't boredom, it's safety. So when we then move on to the avoidant pattern, dismissive avoidance I'm talking about, tend to be attracted to the pursuer. So if you're avoidant, you might find yourself drawn to people who are expressive, emotionally available, and maybe even a little anxious. They make you feel desired, but also slightly trapped. At first, their warmth feels flattering, but when they start wanting deeper connection, when they start saying, I feel distant from you, or can we talk about us? Your system floods with overwhelm. You pull away, not because you don't care, but because you were never taught that closeness could coexist with freedom. So you unconsciously create distance in order to allow yourself to breathe. And the moment they stop chasing, you miss them because now it's safe again. So it's not emotional manipulation, it's your nervous system trying to find like a balance, equilibrium, to get close without being swallowed. So healing begins when you learn that emotional safety isn't about space from people, it's about space within connection. You can have both closeness and autonomy. The goal isn't distance, it's balance here. So when we then move on to the fearful avoidant pattern, they're drawn to intensity. Like, I don't know a fearful avoidant who doesn't love an intense relationship. So if you're fearful avoidant or disorganized, attraction often feels like electricity. It's instant, it's powerful, it's all consuming, it's exciting. But that intensity usually comes with instability. So the highs are incredible, but the lows are absolutely devastating. You may be drawn to partners who mirror your inner conflict, warm and engaging 1 minute, cold or inconsistent the next. And that inconsistency keeps you locked in because it recreates the emotional chaos your nervous system once knew as love. You chase when you're scared to lose them, and you pull away when things get too close. It's not that you want drama, it's that drama feels like home. So your relationships are likely very chaotic, very dramatic. But it's not because you want that, it's because that's what you feel safe in. For you, healing means redefining love completely. So it's learning that peace can feel passionate too, that consistency can be exciting as well, that a slow burn can last longer than the wildfire will. You don't have to prove your worth through pain, and you are already worthy of calm connection. You've just got to believe in that yourself. So when we then move on to the secure pattern, that's attracting from wholeness, basically. So when you move into a secure attachment, your energy completely shifts. You stop chasing intensity and start craving integrity. So if you know what I mean. Sorry, there's like a little fly buzzing around. You begin to feel drawn to people who communicate clearly, who are emotionally consistent, who don't confuse you. That's a big thing. You don't want people who are confusing. So you want somebody who can communicate clearly, who are emotionally consistent, and who don't confuse you. And that can feel, when you first move into a secure attachment, that can feel really strange at first, even boring, because your nervous system isn't used to peace. It's not. But over time, that calm starts to feel magnetic in a completely new way. So you realize that love isn't supposed to be an adrenaline rush. It's supposed to be a soft landing. And as a secure person, you may still attract those with insecure patterns because your energy feels safe. The key is staying compassionate without becoming the rescuer here. So you can offer safety, but you don't have to become someone else's safe place at the cost of your own peace. So I want to talk a little bit actually before I sign off about the mirror principle. And here's what I tell people who seek my help all the time. The people you attract are mirrors, not of your worth, but of your wounds. So they are literally mirroring your wounds back to you. So if you attract emotionally unavailable partners, it's not because you're unlovable, it's because a part of you is still emotionally chasing what you never received. If you attract intensity and inconsistency, it's because your nervous system equates unpredictability with connection. But mirrors don't just reflect your pain, they reflect your progress too. So when you start healing, your relationships change completely. You stop mistaking tension for chemistry, basically. You stop romanticizing people who keep you guessing, and you start gravitating toward people who make you feel steady and seen and safe. That's not luck, that's regulation. That's growth, essentially. So, because I love my reflections and I know that my last couple of videos have been very long, I'm trying to keep this one less, less long. That's really bad English. So I don't know what's wrong with my speaking today. Yeah, so today's reflection, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, who do I usually attract? And what does that say about my relationship with safety? Do I chase what hurts because it feels familiar? Or do I withdraw from what's healthy because it feels uncomfortable? Or am I learning slowly but surely to recognize peace as love? Because the day you stop finding chaos exciting is the day you know you're healing. You'll stop craving the person who keeps you guessing and start desiring the one who helps you exhale. And that's what real chemistry feels like when it's secure. I cannot stand inconsistency anymore. It never used to bother me. But actually, now I'm more in the secure thing. I do not like inconsistency. I don't like chaos. I don't like emotionally unavailable people. I like openness and honesty and integrity. And yeah, but that's completely different from what I liked when I was anxious. So, so if this resonated with you, take a moment to save it or share it or comment with what pattern you recognize most. I love hearing from you, so that's always good with me. And remember, you don't attract what you want. This is something that we believe so deeply, and yet it's so incorrect. You don't attract what you want, you attract what feels safe. So make peace the thing that feels familiar. That's the foundation of secure love. Anyway, I shall sign off now, guys. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.